it all comes back to that Bucs defense. I mean, we're talking about Brady all week, and rightfully so. 10 Super Bowls. I mean, unreal. But the reason that they're in this game is the
Wait,
defense. They
I'm
they really bailed him out.
I'm hearing something. I have
Oh
some
my!
animals wandering around in the back.
Tom Brady just hanging out there in Madrid, right?
Oh yeah, no, he has nothing else to do.
You're taking Casey's skill players over Tampa's?
Oh, don't. Uh-oh.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
Jaime's
No,
on
because
in fuego.
I
He's in
have
fuego.
Buccaneers. Go Bucs!
Ahoy, mateys around the seafaring globe. Welcome to our Raging Seas Super Bowl episode of Spanish Pirates Bucket Up podcast. I'm Kirkland and my good friend Jaime Centenera at the helm of this scurvy vessel. I can lose the shades of España because it's night. I'm only wearing those for good luck because we're unbeaten with them.
We are unbeaten, yes, and no. Here we go for the third one, and we have a great show coming up.
It's loaded. 3 stowaways coming aboard. The vessel is packed. It's not a bandwagon. Everyone's jumping on. There's room below decks. We can take all comers. We're excited with Tyler Dunn, who's an NFL insider and has great insight. And then we have a Sam Lewis, a fan from Missouri, and then an old friend of mine, an NFL guy who has great insight. And so it'll be more than just you and I droning on. But before we get to all that, give me one thought. I mean, this is the final game. You have reached the top of the mountain, mi amigo.
This is it. This is the big game. No, this is what our guys have been, playing for and waiting for all this difficult year. No, and they have to have face so much adversity throughout this year, and they have to be getting to know each other and learning how to play with each other. And I think we saw that change after the bye, after that Chiefs game, that last game that they lost. Right, they've been winning. They're on a seven game winning streak. It's a franchise record, and here we go. They're coming with momentum, and I think anything can happen. If I have to give a key to the game, it's that defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and I think that's going to be the key coming after Mahomes.
Well said. For me, the stars all feel aligned, and that scares me because it's the perfect story for part of the NFL. The other perfect ending is Mahomes winning and continuing to build on his legacy as he chases the GOAT. The GOAT is up here and the other guy's down here. But, if he wins 2, he's projecting and he's young and it's always possible. But it's a perfect storm certainly for the NFL, for NFL fans. It's the game everybody kind of thought they might see. It was, either, the Saints or the Packers or the Bucs and the Chiefs.
But now let's jump and let's preview this great game coming up. No, let's.
We are loaded with guests, and so let's go ahead and see who's wanting in. Permission granted for anybody and everybody. Tyler Dunn, come aboard. Of course, this guy has covered the NFL in depth for years. Now runs his own venture, Go Long TD. Thanks so much, Tyler, for coming aboard. And it's a full vessel. We have a lot of stowaways, and you're right at the top. Thank you so much for joining us, and can't wait to get into it.
Pleasure to be here. I love it. Look at this Zoom just bringing us all together all around the globe. We
are dialing up. We're a lonely few scurvies here in Madrid, but I must tip my captain's cap to Jaime Centenera, who is the original Bucs fan, and I came aboard with Brady. I still like the Pats, but come on. If you're a Brady guy, you follow. It's an unbelievable story. But Jaime, why don't you
story? Yeah.
Tell them about your remember the Buccaneers and all that. He's been a long suffering dude.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, I started following the Bucs back in 2001, so they just won the Super Bowl like the next year. So it was pretty good. But I wasn't like a really really regular follower. Then picked it up again around 2010. Which was probably not the best idea because it's been the last decade. It's been 10 years of absolute misery. But here we are. I mean, we got Tom Brady and we're in the Super Bowl, man. It's an unbelievable journey.
I always appreciate that with fans, like that stick it out through the really crappy years, like if I don't, I get the bandwagon jumping with Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. No offense, Tom, but I absolutely get that. But to stick it out through, God, what did you have? Josh Freeman and
Josh
what
Freeman, we got Mike Glennon,
here it goes.
McCown. What a murderous row of quarterbacks.
Let's jump right into it. Tyler, I loved your work. I love the you had a long article about Carlton Davis. And that to me is, how much they're not going to put him on an island like that horrible first quarter, but he's up to the challenge. You wrote about it and he was so eloquent about looking forward, and you got to have a short memory as a corner, but Tyreek Hill, Carlton Davis, what jumps out at you about this matchup coming up?
That's the needle to thread, right? I mean, you've got to be physical with Tyreek Hill, because if you sit back, I mean, I live here in Buffalo, New York, and a lot of Bills fans are still in a daze for whatever the hell happened at Arrowhead in the AFC Championship game. But they sat back. I mean, they were passive. They tried to play to keep the game close. And Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, that entire offense, they'll eat you up if you do that. So you can't sit back and let them pick away at a zone. You got to get in their face. Carlton Davis does that. I mean, he is as throwback of a corner as you'll find from South Florida, just gritty, grimy, in your face. He's going to get physical those first 5 yards, and you can't do much after that, but he'll try. I mean, they had a crew that kind of let him play in the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
game,
they
so
did.
I'm sure they're hoping for that too. So I think you need that element in this matchup, but they got to get him some help. They've got to give him a safety over the top, some kind of shade to allow him to be violent and aggressive and play the way he wants to play. I think they were kind of halfway there in that first half against Kansas City earlier in the year, where they knew they had to be aggressive and they had to try to throw him off his route or do whatever they could, but they didn't give him any help and they got torched. I mean, 200 plus yards on Carlton Davis alone. They got to mix it up. But as you noted, I'm sure you'll get into it, like that second half, Todd Bowles made some adjustments. And I think that the way the Buccaneers are set up defensively is about as good as you could be set up to try to slow down Patrick Mahomes in this offense.
Right. The thing about the coming up with adjustment is like, that guy over in Kansas City, he comes up with a lot of adjustments. Reid, he'll be figuring out ways to outsmart our defense. Again, I'm sure, but I'm sure Todd Bowles also accounts for that, and he'll be ready. Hopefully, and also coming back to another article that you wrote, another guy that's potentially going to be very important is Devin White. What can you tell us about that guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I do a podcast with a longtime scout, and we've talked about just how great Devin White is, which is kind of strange because you shouldn't draft inside linebackers that high. And I was really shocked to see. Yeah, like from 2009 when Aaron Curry just totally busted out of Wake Forest to 2019 when the Bucs took Devin White, there was not one inside linebacker taken in the top 5 because you can get by with the retreads and, 4th and 5th round picks there. Usually can just kind of hide them in that defense, but Devin White's so freaking good. I mean, they blitz him, they use him in coverage, he stops the run. It's just a different level of football.
He's a thumper.
He's on the field. Right. I mean, he's he's 240 and he runs a 4.42. That's insane. I mean, there's just
he's a big man running fast.
In terms of stopping Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that story was really focusing on. He's really the guy I think the Bulls is going to have to unleash in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Jaime's been talking about this great point. The Chiefs' offensive line, at this point, you can't get to the Super Bowl without having talent and good guys, but they're missing their bookends. Fisher's a huge loss. You got JPP and the reemergence of Shaq Barrett is another huge thing. But the Bucs also can't get mesmerized by all the bells and whistles, right? All the eye candy motions and this and that.
It's a great point. I mean, I think the Chiefs are really going to try because they're decimated on the offensive line. I mean, to lose Eric Fisher is massive. Yep. They already have been down multiple linemen. So I think Andy Reid, Jaime was talking about the adjustments. That's probably their chess move. A lot of screens, a lot of misdirection, like you said, a lot of pre-snap tomfoolery to try to throw them off. And I think they want to get that ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand fast to try to offset the lack of starters on the line. So it's going to take that interior pressure. It's going to take, that's the quickest way to the quarterback is right up the gut. They've got the guys that can get there. Goldson's been incredible this year. He's really an unsung hero on that defense. So whoever it is up the gut, maybe that is Devin White blitzing. That's the quickest way to Patrick Mahomes, because you know that Reid's just going to want to get the ball out of his hand.
How much are they going to want? Go ahead, Jaime. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying because coming up the gut, with Vita Bea coming back, we saw him last week.
Huge.
And that's huge for the Bucs, and also not only Devin White, but we're talking the other inside linebacker, Lavonte David, who's probably one of the longest tenure Bucs, and he's questionable. He has a hamstring injury. I'm sure he's play.
Not missing the Super Bowl.
He's not missing the Super Bowl. No way. But that center of the defense also, I think you make a great point, and that's where the Bucs can take advantage. And,
so
and how about those running backs then by Kansas City? Sorry, Tom. Edwards-Helaire and maybe Le'Veon Bell. At one point, he was a great player. No, not a lot's been talking about him.
No doubt. And Darrell Williams. He's a stud too. I'd be tempted to get him the ball, but yeah, they've got some backs, and it's just going to be fascinating to see what Andy Reid does in this game. And I wouldn't discount that experience in the Super Bowl last year. I was going to say
they ran the football last year, didn't they?
They did. Mahomes, up until 8 minutes to go, I had it right in front of me. His passer rating was like
44.
It's unbelievable. But they were running the ball. That kept him in the game when Mahomes wasn't Mahomes. So that's a great point too. I think that Reid knows, look, if the Bucs are able to get some pressure, you've got three different backs you could give the ball to. And Le'Veon Bell, he's been dying for this moment. This is a dude that was revolutionizing the position in 2016, 2017 with his patience. And I remember we talked about it at his locker once. He said, I'm the Steph Curry of football. He really thought that running backs in the future would be patient and pick and choose their holes like he does. It's been a long time since we've seen him on
that
a stage
holdout killed
like
him,
this.
didn't it? That really got him to the Jets, which is, that's down the rabbit hole right there. But I was going to ask you about the contain of Mahomes. If you can just keep him in the pocket, he's already deadly. But it seems like if once he gets out on the edges and buys 2, 3, 4 more seconds, you can't cover those guys. So I wonder if they're going to have some kind of a bracket thing where they try to manage where he is in the pocket.
Right. I guess you can try to bring Barrett and JPP out or do something. But Bowles is one of the best defensive minds in football. That's got to be the focus. Somehow keeping him in that pocket. That's where all of his interceptions were this year. Look, he's still the best player on the planet wherever he is on the field. Right. I don't care. It's Patrick freaking Mahomes. But that to have any kind of shot, he can't get outside. He can't be improvising. He can't be doing that second, third reaction because he's got a former high school quarterback in Travis Kelce who sees the field like he does. And you got Tyreek Hill, the number one receiver that we've never seen in the history of the game.
No.
Mecole Hardman had he had that fumble, but then had a great game against the Bills. So he got his speed.
This sets up as a Hardman and Sammy Watkins. Like if they're getting a lot of attention elsewhere, it sounds like a game where they can maybe pick on some of the other Bucs guys.
It's, I just keep thinking, what this game is just going to come down to, I think, is, both offenses are going to be able to put up points. And the Chiefs are obviously next level, but the Buccaneers have talent everywhere. They prepare for this moment. Fournette, Ronald Jones, Gronk, Cameron Brate. Maybe we could spend a whole segment talking about their weapons, but who makes that one play on defense? Right. And it kind of comes back to Devin White for me. Who's going to make that game-changing play? You can go back to any Super Bowl. Brandon Graham with the forced fumble, the Eagles' Pats. Brady threw 505 yards that game, but nobody remembers because of that one turnover. Malcolm Butler at the goal
Butler
line.
interception.
Dante Hightower. In the 28-3 game. That doesn't happen without him. Who's going to make that play? And I just think if for Tampa Bay, Devin White gives you that chance. Tyrann Mathieu on the Chiefs side, they use him
the other playmaker.
He's all over the place. Yeah, he's a beast.
BA knows him very well, though.
Yes,
and Bowles, they both know him very well.
Yeah,
he took the chance on him once upon a time. You're right.
Is there any momentum coming in here? 7 wins in a row. I feel, and I'm probably because I'm a Bucs fan, I feel like they have a little more momentum, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
I'm glad that you believe in momentum because I absolutely do too. It's here in the States. It's like if you say you believe in momentum or quarterback wins, I mean you're kind of ushered out to the cornfield forever. But yeah, they absolutely have momentum. I mean they've been on a roll. They've since the bye week, since that Chiefs game.
That was the last game they lost. Yeah.
Totally. I think Tom Brady, and I actually was talking to Trent Dilfer about this last week, and he's in the know. He knows Tom Brady pretty well. And he said, look, Tom Brady, he spoke up to the team, and you can kind of read between the lines with Bruce Arians and a lot of the players. It seems like Brady was the voice in that moment. He said something, he did something that turned everything around. And if you believe in magical Disney storytelling narratives, Tom Brady just got him on the right track, and he's back in the Super Bowl, and they've got all the momentum. But we've kind of talked a lot of Bucs here. I keep coming back to the fact that we are living in a time of Michael Jordan in pads on a football field, and Patrick Mahomes is going to win like 7, 8, 9 Super Bowls. He's just unbelievable.
So yeah, what are you looking at, or are you going to waffle because you can't, or what do you think?
Hey, let's make a. I actually haven't even done it anywhere yet, so this is great. It's been fun to think about and talk about. I've tried to really rationalize the Buccaneers, and it's been great getting to know the guys on that defense and that team. And also, Fournette, Ronald Jones, just unbelievable personalities, talent. Can't do it though, man. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. If I'm going to a casino, if I'm throwing down money, I'm throwing everything at the Chiefs. I think let's go high scoring. I think we go 41-31.
Wow. 10 points.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that, they're just too good. They're not going to be able to keep up. I can't see Brady keeping up as good as he is. Mahomes is next level, and the torch, the GOAT has been passed.
Okay. They said that about the Packer game, right? That, you can't slow him down, and it was on their home field. Now the Packers are not in the Chiefs. That's not in the Chiefs level, in my opinion, and you saw some of the reasons. So I'm picking now.
Look, I'm going to say, for me, it's a great Super Bowl, not only because obviously the Bucs are in there.
And the ratings, this might be the most watched Super Bowl ever.
And you know this, I've always liked the Chiefs. Like there's, it's like a friendly team to me. I even, even I have a Chiefs shirt.
Oh no!
But this is going out the window right now.
There you go. Burn it.
Throws it to the dog.
Of course. I have to go with the Bucs, no question. Both have great offense, but I think the difference is going to be that defense, and I think that's where it's at, and that's why I'm going with the Bucs.
Number?
I'll say 38-33. I just went with those numbers.
I've been going back and forth. Clearly, Bucs. I think that 37-34. And another guy we haven't mentioned, great pickup, Ryan Suckup, who has been nailed. He's, Butker's awesome.
Yeah.
But the kicking game won't be an issue. So, we got to ride it. We're 2-0 on our podcast, picking our team.
See, I think this is what the league wants. It's an unbelievable story either way. Either you're propping Brady up, you're propping Mahomes up. Love him or hate him, Tom Brady's going to drive ratings. There's a lot of people, especially here in Buffalo, who hate the guy. But they can't take their eyes off him. Yeah. And then obviously Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL. So it's a win-win, I think, for the league. As much as the league hated Brady, with the deflated footballs and that whole thing. Good.
Don't get me started. That's a whole nother podcast.
And I have to say, once you get to know Tom Brady and your team, you love him.
I won't play the GOAT anymore.
Bills fans would love him
once you get to know him.
Yeah. Tyler Dunn, thanks so much. We kept you a little bit over time, but you were just too good, so we had to encroach a little bit. Tell me the whole thing exactly. Tell me all of your connections.
Absolutely, man. On Twitter at Ty Dunn, DUNNE, and just about 2.5 months ago, I launched Go Long. It's at golongtd.com. Reaction from folks has been awesome. Just saw an opportunity, right, to kind of zag where a lot of people are zigging in sports media. A lot of takes, a lot of tweets. Everything's kind of bundled in 140 characters. We want to be old school. We want to tell stories and really cover the game through that long form lens. So actually working on a big Chiefs story for Friday too, if people want to check that out.
And you're going to pick them.
That's awesome.
No, sorry, guys.
I can vouch for you because I've read a lot of your stuff coming into this, and it's great coverage, and you have a real flair. And continued success. Thank you so much for spending some time with this Scurvy Vessel fledgling Spanish Pirates podcast. Great work.
I love it, guys. Thanks so much for having me on anytime. Just say the word.
All the best,
Be
man.
well.
Good luck.
Be well. Stay safe.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the game.
This is Spags over and over the years.
Brady's going for the big ball. He's open. Evans for the touchdown on 4th and 3.
It's pretty clear where we're coming down on this. And as we get into the GOAT against the GOAT wannabe debate, we're joined by Sam Lewis, our good friend from Missouri. And Jaime, we all love Patrick Mahomes, but he ain't the GOAT yet. And he might not be the GOAT, but Sam has opinions. That's why he's here.
He is here, and he's going to be the Mahomes apologist, but I'm sure he's coming full with weapons, not to throw at us.
Yeah, weapons like Mahomes has at his disposal, guys. I tell you this much. There is, first of all, it's great to be on this. Love it. Global, the first global thing I've seen, at least from the Bucs. Amazing. Keep doing good things. The debate, the GOAT, is all about media fueling these things. These guys both know their legacy. It's simple. I think Mahomes is the perfect transitional quarterback from this old generation to this new generation. He is 100%. He reflects this hybrid style, fun, gunslinging millennial generation that to me is, it's this great, because Brady, let's be real, he's old. Like, he's boring, right? And I get it, right? He is the official GOAT, but young people, have a hard time relating to him. They do. You go to Mahomes,
he's not as exciting. He's like the calm guy, right? He's a guy who gets it done, but he's not flashy. He's work.
But look, Mahomes,
He led the NFC in passing yards more than Aaron Rodgers. He threw 40. He's 43.
Fine, but Mahomes gets it done too. What, 38 and 6, 38 and 8, and something along those lines in the first 3 years?
No question. But everybody's already trying to anoint him as if he wins this game, he's the GOAT. Well, you got to do it over time. Brady's about longevity and durability and coaching changes, maybe, and salary cap and players' injuries and a little luck here and there. And talk to me in 5 years.
Yeah, well, and look, I go back and I'm going to reference this to the Jordan LeBron debate, right? The LeBron haters will say, oh, he's never going to get 6. But you look at these stats, and everyone loves stats now. LeBron's going to be first in everything. And so, now is 4 of LeBron better than 6 of Jordan? And I'm saying this because the younger generation,
it's 2 less. 6 minus 4.
Well, guys, I mean, this is a very interesting debate for sure, but let's focus on the game, because we tend to do that. We tend to look ahead and the legacies and all that, and that's great. But we have a game coming up, and we need to. I mean, at least me as a Bucs fan, I've been waiting for this for so long, right? Yeah. So let's talk about this. We were talking about weapons. Sam, what do you think? Because both teams are loaded on offense.
Yeah. So my concern, and I think it's come up, and it's going to be, the Chiefs were didn't have many injuries throughout the year. Now I think Eric Fisher might be out. They don't know yet sure.
For sure.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Both tackles.
I think of
both
all
tackles
of the injuries. Yeah, and I think that is a big deal for Kansas City.
That's your point, Jaime.
That is my point. That's definitely. Yeah.
And oddly enough, I think that the Chiefs have been underlooked all year. I think they've been so good that teams have just been like, oh yeah, they're boring. They look like they're going through the motions. And the fact is, they're 14-2. And they're so confident. It's like, it's this aura of confidence that they have. And it starts from Andy Reid. And going on 4th and 1 with your backup quarterback does not happen if they haven't won the Super Bowl last year. That's it. Most teams are punting it and saying, we're going to hold the line and we're going to let our defense win.
Yeah. I think in terms of coaching, it's a really, really great matchup, right? All over we have Andy Reid from the Chiefs. We got Bruce Arians, another colorful guy. Even if we go to the assistant coaches, Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich, then in defense. I mean, it's a great collection of coaches right there.
Yeah.
Sam, prediction. We got to jump. We got this is a full ship. We got a lot of stowaways, and I know We got to get you in and out. Give me a pick.
I think the line right now is Chiefs -3.5. I think but it'll change by the time it'll change. I think it's going to be 28-24. I'm going Chiefs 28-24.
Okay. You can walk our plank.
27-24 was the result in the regular season.
That's right.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very close, but I
All
have
right.
Chiefs and Mahomes.
Okay. We'll see. We will certainly see. And I'm looking forward to the ball game, and we'll see if you're right. Or I'm right.
Take it easy, guys.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
All right, Sam. Have a good one. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the invite.
There he is. He's my best friend and the best man at my wedding. This guy, we are thicker than thieves, and in some cases,
thieves
might have been thieves. Joins us from Cincinnati. Gary, of course, many people recognize. I met him at CNN, worked together, and then he was a mainstay at ESPN, and then CBS affiliate in LA, and now you're running the show at CBS in Cincinnati, and you got the Zach Taylor Bengals coaches show. So you have a lot of information in that dome.
Yeah, we know how to lose.
By the way, the latest odds are in for next year's Super Bowl. The Chiefs are 5-1, Tampa Bay 12-1. The bottom four: Broncos, Lions, Jags, and your Bengals 75-1.
Well, they have some pieces. Let's say that. I think Joe Burrow has a chance to be just slightly below Mahomes. I think Mahomes is one of a kind in terms of arm strength, and Brady would even say that.
Yep.
In fact, we did a debate last night saying, who's going to have the best career in the long run, and I had Brady, and we had his 6 Super Bowl trophies. So you can't really argue with that. But I think statistically, Mahomes will probably blow him away in terms of yardage and touchdowns and things like that. But I think the GOAT, yes. Yeah, I don't think he'll ever, I can't imagine. We always thought Montana was probably at that level, and then Brady has blown him away. Mahomes would have to do so many things over a 20-year span to be in that conversation. But and right now, to me, he's like Marino, maybe, although Marino lost his first Super Bowl. But I think he's going to be a statistical giant. Will he be able to be at championships?
Right. Great point. So as you look at this game, what jumps out at you?
I think the skill players for KC. I think there aren't many quarterbacks that would give you an edge over Brady. Brady's experience will play a lot, but I don't think they're going to get away with 3 interceptions like they did against the Packers.
No way.
And I just think Kelsey's putting himself in the conversation as the greatest tight end of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill is
he's unguardable,
uncoverable, right? And
right.
If Winfield,
video game player,
and Whitehead are healthy, which they were kind of questionable coming out of that Packer game, Winfield didn't even play. That'll give him a better shot, but that to me it's going to be hard to keep up with the Chiefs scoring wise.
Yeah.
So Gary, you're taking Casey's skill players over Tampa's?
Yes.
We have Jaime's in fuego. He's in fuego.
Leonard Fournette. That was a great acquisition, and he's starting to look like the Leonard Fournette. Who knows what you're going to get from Antonio Brown? We don't know how healthy he's going to be. But obviously, that's a big X factor.
That's a big
that they added late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And Gronk, he seems to come. To me, Gronk at this point he's
a great blocker.
Comes up with the big play.
Yep. He had over 100 yards in the first meeting.
He's not a feature guy anymore.
No.
But he's a guy that he made some huge plays in that Packer game when they needed him to, run out the clock and keep Rodgers off the field.
But what about Godwin and Evans? These are all pros. Jaime, go. Jaime, I'll let you go.
I was going there. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Tyreek Hill, we've talked about him. That guy is surreal, right? And he's a different kind of player. But yeah, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown, which you said, obviously. So those 3 guys are number 1 receivers on any team.
My problem with Evans is it's super talent, love his size, great target. I never know if he's going to drop it. in a key situation. I don't trust his hands. Hopefully he'll come up to the occasion and have his best game ever. But I think he's underachieved a little bit for as great as he's been. I think he could be up there with the conversation of the top 5 receivers in the league.
He's never quite there in that conversation of the top 3 guys, but over time he's been so consistent, and he's had pretty bad throwers. Like, he started his career with McCown and then Mike Glennon, and and Jamie's he threw
it's a
good
dirty
ones,
laundry list.
You never knew with Jamie's, right? But
with Jamie, it was just a scoring fest. How many would you throw to your team and how many you throw to their team?
Exactly.
The Bucs would not be in this position if Jameis was still their quarterback. That's for sure.
No.
Hey, I got a question for you, Jaime, because I heard this asked on a national broadcast today here in the U.S. Who's more important? This is great from this huge Bucs fan that you are. Who's more vital to the Bucs being in the Super Bowl, Arians or Brady?
I mean, I have to go with Brady, no question. I mean, I love Bruce Arians, he's a great coach, but he even says it, like, I'm not doing shit. like he's even delegating to Byron Leftwich.
That's exactly what he would say.
That's what he said, it verbatim. That's what he said. So I can say that.
Cap on.
And
yes,
he's delegating, he's just overseeing. He's a great manager of people. He's a motivator, and he, Gronk was talking about it also the other day, like how he's so much different from Belichick. He wasn't throwing rocks at Belichick, but he was saying, like, he just talk with him. Mike Evans also, like, he's very close to him. He talks every day. So I'm not taking away from Arians, but like Tom Brady, he just completely changed. Not the team, just the franchise. He's giving a new perspective, a new level,
expectation, right?
Expectation.
I mean, he came in and everyone looks
at him. Not only the offense, but also the defense, and that's very underrated. How the defense has gone from 2 years ago, and obviously Todd Bowles has a lot of merit in that. But the defense was horrible under Mike Smith a couple of years ago, and now look at where we are. I mean,
The
defense is Brady's ability to sustain drives, so the defense doesn't have to be out there constantly.
It's
when Jameis is there, he's throwing interceptions. They get right back out on the field.
And I'm sure
the other subtext to me for Arians, though, is that Brady wouldn't have come there if he wasn't the head coach.
That's right.
And then luring Gronk and Fournette and Antonio Brown, saying, Brady was the Brown thing. But, I think having that caliber of a coach with the level of respect he has got that roster together.
I think it's a lot like the Belichick and Brady. You like, it looks like Brady won this time, but you can't separate that kind of camaraderie and that kind of continuity. And I think Arians, it's a perfect match of a different culture, a different coach, a different mindset. Byron Leftwich, it took them half a year because the first half we were bitching back and forth. That first half, they didn't do play action. They had no motion. Their offense was stale. And little by little, they worked in some things that Brady was more comfortable with. And now, who knows? But I don't think the Chiefs are going to stop them. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and last possession wins.
Let's hope. Those are always the best Super Bowls.
Right.
I think, the Bucs have some advantage. I love their line, their offensive line. And the Chiefs don't have the greatest defensive line. I still just think the skilled players in the end, nobody expected, except for Jaime maybe, the Bucs to be here. The Chiefs were kind of expected all along.
Absolutely.
I was expecting it even under Greg Schiano. I was expecting it. But
who's playing better? Who's playing better right now?
Oh.
And that's really what the Super Bowl is all about. I mean, the Bucs have won 7 in a row, and some of the early streaks teams weren't very good, but they've gone on the road and won 3 playoff games, and they just beat Breeze, a decrepit Breeze, and they just beat Rodgers, and their defense is coming,
right,
and that offense is coming together, and they run the football just enough. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm a
all right. If
homer.
If Shaq Barrett can get Mahomes down twice, they win.
That's right, Jaime. That's what you said.
That's not
The
a
bookends.
that's not a difficult. Yeah, I mean, I have to say this. Obviously, a lot of has been talked about the both offenses, but I think the key, and you hit it there, Gary, it's in the defense, because I don't think Kansas City defense can match Tampa Bay's defense.
Right.
And that's going to be the key of the game. And there's a lot of game records on the Tampa Bay side. You talked about Barrett. You got JPP on the other side. Don't forget the middle. We got the big guy,
Vida Loco, la Vida Loco.
And then of course you have to talk about Devin White. That guy is a machine. And
he's the best linebacker on the field.
I've been watching it for 2 years.
Yeah, he's had an awesome postseason.
And he's been going in the upward trajectory. He's a missile coming out from.
I'll tell you one more thing, and that's, you're right. There's been a lot of playmakers in that defense, and that could be huge. Mahomes isn't prone to mistakes, but, if they get him in a situation he's not used to, we'll see how they react. My favorite player, though, currently on the Bucs is Jensen, the center.
Ryan
I love him.
Red Dragon.
I love him. Have you ever heard the mic'd up?
He never stops blocking.
Have you ever heard him mic? There was one of the games he was mic'd up, and he was running around like, he blocks people right at the whistle. You'll see a guy flying by in the pile, and it's him. Yeah. And he's always saying, I love playing football. Boom. Hey, let me help you up. I love playing football.
He'll block a guy all the way to his bench.
Yeah.
The whistle means nothing to him.
One other thing just to keep an eye on, and I think we talked about this after the Green Bay game. Watch the physicality on both sides of the ball for Tampa Bay, but specifically on defense. They were thumping the Packers. They knocked Aaron Jones around even before they knocked him out. They took down Rodgers. Obviously, Mahomes has a little more escapability, but I think they bring anger. And I know the Chiefs are going to be flying around too. But that's
Casey's
one of the things I'm looking for.
On the line. The line isn't that great to begin with. Doesn't have to be with the offense that they run. But they were incredibly disruptive. They were throwing Packers linemen into the backfield, knocking Rodgers out of the way.
Right. Yeah.
So,
just
but
the speed of the
Mahomes is a lot more
defense.
mobile. I don't know.
And I think that's when he's most dangerous, when he gets a little leak out on the rollout and he gives his guy extra time to get open and then he can flick it 70. I mean, he is incredibly, he's maybe the most talented next to Rodgers, 1-2 about absolute arm talent and the ability to make plays. Thanks, man.
It was for the Tampa because of my family connections there.
All right, good. And you want to make a
memories
pick?
Of the creamsicles in the sombrero.
And we had some times there in Tampa a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we don't want to get into that.
That's for another podcast. Never.
Well, here's one more factor, which we won't know until Sunday. It's such an odd year. Tom remembers as well the insanity of media day. There's nothing like it at Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
Now it's all Zoom, and even Gronk and Kelsey, and they're in a 45-minute Zoom call, and they only take 8 questions or whatever.
Right.
Kansas City's not going there till at least Friday, maybe Saturday.
Right. They're going Saturday. Yeah,
it's a
Saturday.
weird experience. They're not there in the city. I don't know. It's going to be. We'll see if that's a factor at all, but I think that kind of plays into your energy for the game.
Humidity. I'm pounding on that weird South Florida. It was weather last week. It didn't matter in Green Bay. Jaime disagrees with me, but if it's in the high 70s and humid, those big guys after a 45-minute halftime, third, fourth quarter, they're sweating. It's a little oppressive even in February. If you're big.
Let's have a Bucs, the first ever home game for a Super Bowl.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think for the Bucs playing at home.
So it's
I mean, there has to be a familiarity, with the building even.
Right.
But the Chiefs have been great on the road, and so have been Tampa Bay. You could say even the Bucs are better on the road than at home. So
every Brady Mahomes matchup, a 1-score game, 3 points, 7 points, 6 points. So I think we're going to be invested deep into the fourth quarter.
Did he give us a pick for the game? What was it?
I picked the Chiefs.
Okay. A number? Do you have a number?
Sorry, I don't. But
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
They're covering the 3, and trying to think I don't know what the latest over under is. I think it's like 57 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be high scoring.
I would take over on that. I usually always go under, but I would take over on that one.
All right. We'll see if you're right. I hope you're wrong. But as always, great connecting with you in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, anytime from across the planet or next door.
That's right. Best to your family.
Thanks for joining, Gary.
Be well. That was great stuff. We appreciate the three stowaways who came aboard, but I mean, they all picked against us, Jaime. We have to make them walk that plank.
Yeah,
I
mean, like I said, we like matey. No, we like that underdog story. We're going with it. That doesn't change our focus. No, we're going where we're going, and look, anything can happen. No, and it's not the end of the line. No, Brady will be playing more years, so maybe we'll be
past 45.
Reviewing another Super Bowl next year.
He'll be Captain Bly at some point. But I just reflect on this, and it was like a year ago when we started to bond over this. I mean, we've always been friends, but like when I said, "Hey, your team," and you said, "We're loaded," and I said, "I know," and then he goes there, and we've watched this whole thing develop through all of the struggles in the first half of the season when they were just trying to get all on the same page and figure out what worked for Brady and the offense and Leftwich and BA and it's come to here, and it's awesome. So when you reflect on where they are, they've come through all year, and you have again you have the pain of many years. It's still great, win or lose. This is where we wanted to be.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. No, I mean, this is the situation. I maybe never thought I would be, and this is it. No? And even though, like, we had Clyde Christensen, the quarterback coach, talking the other day, he's saying, like, we're not at our best yet on offense. No, we might need maybe 8 more games to get to what our peak would be. So, I mean, we're at a great spot, and I think they're going to do great. But the future, the short-term future is bright. It's still bright.
Yeah. But we still have 60 minutes and maybe a little more to focus on. And again, I have this candle. I haven't had to call on it yet, and I really don't want to have to call on it. But it's a little sacrilegious. So far, you called him the Messiah in our last podcast. I won't go there, St. Thomas. I hope I don't need to light it at any time.
Well, I hope not, but as a last resort, you never know, because this is it. This is where
that's called putting it all on the line. And so that's there if we need it. And, we'll be, you'll have an input on whether I light it. Hopefully it's not necessary, but it's been a blast. Now we just have to, hold off and wait for kickoff, and it'll be a great anticipation coming the next little while until they kick it, and it's going to be an insane feeling. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. It's going to be a great game, and
well
it's been great sharing this with you, Tom, during these days.
The Spanish Pirates are on the high seas.
Wind is blowing in our favor. Let's go.
It is. We hope nobody storms the vessel, and let's hope we sail off to Botany Bay or something like that. But we'll look forward to it. Great working with you, by the way. You're a pro, and look forward to Monday.
Let's go. All right, Tom.
Okay. Be well.
Buenas noches.